Okay. Well, hello. Welcome everyone to round two of season six here at Japan, here at Suzuka for our second round uh of season six in group two. We had a very interesting race last time out, as many people DNF'd, but this looking at our winner last time out in Austin, Texas, our current championship leader waits currently the first car out of the pit lane to go on a flying lap to hopefully continue to show off his pace here in group 2. With looks like Ozan, Kendricks, Bono, Seabird, Speedy is now coming out of the pit lane. Alexis, Jimbo, Big Pickle, Funny, and Viper is out. So when weights will, so we will follow along with the weights. As it looks like weights are going through 130R to about to start his lap. Going through the final chicane. And I'm going right on board for this lap of Suzuka. Now going into turn 1, a very high G-force corner, braking at the end of that curb on the right. Staying in 5th, getting back on throttle. Going up to 6th, little lift there, downshift there to make that corner. Looks like you rode the curb a little bit. You really want to avoid those curbs, especially through the S's here in Sector 1. As if you do use those curbs, it's really gonna unsettle the car and ultimately have you end up in barrier. Now approaching the hairpin in Sector 2, going down to 2nd gear, up into short shifting up into 3rd for that exit there, which is really crucial as you're heading up towards Spoon here. Braking at the 50, staying in 6th gear, going down another gear, down to 5th for that rotation, and back on the power. On this very mid to short straight, going to 130R, a very high G-force corner. And what Suzuka is mainly known for, going into the chicane, breaking at that 100 meter board. Now staying close to the right hand side of the track and sets at 28.797 as the benchmark for everyone to match. As Viper sets a 27.490, Vacant sets a 28.125. Let's go and follow Vindo setting a 28.165. Edgy setting a 27.9. Let's go ahead. The code setting a 29.8. Let's go ahead. Alexa's still in the pit lane. Speedy 28.9. Malk 7 28.2. Red Sniper Eye 28.5. Ozan 28.6. Sieber 28.3. Orange Trading 29.2. Fusible Orange there with a 2-minute 10.3. Husky with a 2-minute 20.3. Those two hoping to improve on this lap that they're currently on. Hopefully. As it looks like Jimbo 29.0. It looks like there is someone off there. One of the Ferraris, it looks like to be Speedy. Stopped on track, but managing to recover nicely. Big Pickle 69 28.5. A new driver making their debut here today at Suzuka in round 2. Darren Leclerc. Hopefully we see some good potential here from Darren. Now exiting Spoon Curve here. Now approaching 130R here. Will he set a purple sector time? Not yet. No, he won't. And it looks like he has abandoned his lap. Fusible Orange 28.8 there. Putting himself P11. As Speedy has spun there. Pulling a Latifi there. So going to ride on board with Husky doing a Latifi. But it also looks like Darren Leclerc is included in this as well. Now heading into the pit lane. Husky looks like he set a 130.1. Not enough. Still down there in P16. And looks like Waits 1/1000th of a second off his time. So Waits showing his very consistent quality times there. With him only being 1/1000th of a second off his current qualifying time of a 28.797. But Vacant looks like he's currently out on his second run. Hoping to currently warm up his tires going through Degno 1 and 2. Going a little bit wide there. Looks like Edgy and Vindosh as well have also come out on their outlap. Alexis coming out for the first time here. Coming out of the pit lane. Red Sniper Eye, Ozan, Jimbo, R. Shredding have all decided, and Viprise as well, they've all decided to come out for their second run. So let's go ahead and follow along with Vacant here. As he will start his second run here of qualifying. Let's go right on board. Approaching turn 1 here. Staying in 5th. Running that curb a little bit there, so potentially some time loss as Husky has retired. They're on the exit of Spoon Curve. Will Vacant go purple? And he does. 10th and a half up, but invalidates the lap, taking too much curb. So Vacant was on the flyer, but invalidates his lap, taking too much curb in Degna 1. Let's go ahead and follow along with anyone else who's currently on the lap. Looks like Edgy's currently on the lap. Edgy going through the S's here at the moment. Now heading towards Sector 2. Will he go purple this time around? Yes, he will. 3/10 up on Viperize's time. So maybe a 26 on the table here for Edgy. Now coming out of that hairpin in third gear, our training 28-0 for the Alfa Romeo driver. As Vindor sets a 28.047, so AlphaTauri really on it this weekend. So hopefully put up some good points today. As Ozan sets a 28.003. So Ozan on the brim of edging into those 27s as Edgy was purple in Sector 2, 6/10 up. So a 27.3 on the table for Edgy. But loses all that time coming out of that chicane. So maybe didn't get that optimal exit. Maybe got a little bit of wheel spin. So looks like Sniper Eye improving his time, 28.3. Alexis 28.341, but invalidated his current lap time. But Malk in the sister Aston Martin sets purple, Sector 2. So Malk currently on the flyer here, potentially will be up there potentially with his teammate Ozan. Now coming to cross the line, sets a 27.912, going a P3, separating the two AlphaTauris. So an all Aston Martin second row here at the Japanese Grand Prix. Toggling through, Speedy 28.5. Potentially on another lap here. Going through Sector 1, taking a little bit too much curb on that rear right tire. See what time he'll set in Sector 1. Will he go purple? No, he will not. Down 1.6 seconds. But wait, 6 cents up. Currently on his lap time, 28.1 currently on the table. If maybe he could gain that one extra tenth. Potential P3 here. No, P5, 28.014. So Wade's really tight in that top 5. Spanning from a 27.4 all the way down to a 28.1. So really close field spread throughout this grid here in Season 6. In Round 2 still. So the two Aston Martins currently locking out the second row. Very impressive. As majority have decided to come into pit as currently Big Pickle 69 and Seabird all on an outlap as Bono currently starting a lap now. Will Bono go purple in Sector 1? No, he doesn't. Slightly under half a tenth up on his sector time. 28.858. Currently P15 for Bono. So, not looking too good compared to Bono's performance last weekend out in Austin, Texas, where he secured a podium, if I remember correctly. So Bono, from an impressive performance in Group 2, all the way down in P15, so not looking too good here. For Bono, will he go purple sector 2? Yes, he will! Finds those 0.6 of a second in sector 2, most likely coming out of the hairpin and spoon curve, exiting the chicane. 28.2 on the table for Bono. 28.0. 0.7 up on his time, so I guess that was a little warm up there. So Bono turning it up a notch and nearly matching his teammate R Strading, his temporary teammate in Group 2. R Strading nearly matching him. Looks like Ozan's currently on the lap, but Wade's currently in the way. Is going to ride on board. Looks like he has abandoned his lap. Anyone on a lap? No. Looks like Vacan's now currently on a lap. Oh, looks like he's forgot to turn on his ERS. So Vacant, this technically will be his final run, as he's not decided to turn on his ERS. Unless he somehow pulls out a... Yeah, he's 0.6 down. He's forgotten to turn on his ERS. Jimbo currently 10.5 up on his time. Speedy about to start his lap. Let's see who else. Vindosh sets a purple sector 1, 0.4 up on his time, so a 27.6 current potentially on the table for the AlphaTauri driver. So potentially AlphaTauri turning it up here at their former home race here. But their engine supplier's home race. Actually, not even. I keep forgetting Honda doesn't supply them anymore. But now, about to enter sector 3. Will he go purple again? Yes, he will. 0.7 up. So a 27.3. If Vindosh can carry this time, it will be provisional pole for Vindosh here in the AlphaTauri, managing to edge out the Mercedes. Yes, he will. 27.366, beating out Viperize. And that is the end. Vindosh potentially about to go on for a second run. Edgy, slightly under 0.02 of a second away from his time. And Viperize, that is him done. So potentially, Edgy could potentially, if he doesn't improve in Sector 2, he may well potentially. Actually, he may improve here. Getting the slip. Potential slipstream there from Alexis. Currently not up 0.6 of a tenth. 600th of a second, I mean. Down on his lap. Maybe he might regain some time back here. No. Does gain 2.5 tenths coming off of that chicane, but not enough to lock out the front row with his teammate. So it is Vindosh with his first pole position here. Here in LSR with a 27.3. So here is your starting grid. Everyone separated less than a second from P1 all the way down to P14. So really good performance here from Vindosh to get his first provisional pole position. But not our first Turkish driver to get a pole position. Not counting out Durrell, or one of our Group 1 drivers. So, Vindosh lock out the front row. So here's your starting grid. So less than half a second separating the top 5. Only slightly over 3/10 separating the starting grid here. Oh, looks like WR is currently happening. So let's see these comments. As looks like we will have our outlap about to begin. So Vindosh for his first pole position of the season, hoping to turn that into his first win here in LSR. So hopefully he will be, I believe, our second Turkish driver to win no, actually, no, our third Turkish driver to ever win here in LSR, which is probably one of the most unique countries I've honestly seen. Very curious country. Very yeah, very curious country. Really interesting culture. It looks like Big Pickle has left the session. So he was starting from P7 on those soft compound tires. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers starting on the soft compound tires. But the rest of the drivers starting either on the hard or the medium tires. But Big Pickle being the only one who did decide to start on the soft tires within the top 10. Looks like who's stuck back here? Husky just stuck back here with Speedy doing some little shenanigans. We will have to wait for them on the grid, so potentially they may have the warmest tires coming off the start as our pole setter Vindosh. EC's Vindosh coming towards the final chicane. And apologies if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, as Big Pickle has joined back, so nothing to worry about there. But mind, this is our first full grid of the season, so hopefully it will be an exciting race potentially. Maybe some shit show coming towards turn 1. As they all line up. Getting that lineup perfect there. As we're now just currently waiting on the rest of the grid to line up. Alex is looking at the grid vacant. And it looks like, oh, Kendrick has been disqualified. Actually, no, they're not actually disqualified. As, it looks like Alexa doing dumb shit. Lovely. Love to see that. Shout out to Alexis. Had a 90 minutes of Le Mans race. Only a couple minutes ago before Group 2. Very tight finish. Husky, I saw that, so don't worry about that. We're just waiting for Speedy attempting to angle his car in his grid box as it is. Ignore that UI, it is being very weird. 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix. Ozan getting a really good start there, managing to jump Viperize, potentially making the move on Edgy, but Edgy defending that outside. Ozan does make the move up into P2 already. There's a spin back there, looks like it was vacant there. So Ozan getting a really good start on those hard compound tires, managing to get past Edgy and Viperize, but way before turn 1, so maybe has a lower downforce setup suited for the straights. As it looks like we have a fight there. Jimbo wanted to send it on Husky, but not materializing. Red Sniper going wheel to wheel with Malk right on board. Small amount of contact there, going wide. Fusible Orange, as Big Pickle has retired. Not a safety car just yet. Everyone really fighting for position here. Bono attempting to go around the outside, bring a little bit too late. Managing to keep it clean, but here comes Waits. Waits taking advantage of Bono getting a poor exit coming off the chicane. Will he be able to make the move on Malk before turn 1 going wheel to wheel in turn 1? Still going wheel to wheel. Who will give up first? As Waits getting the move done here in that McLaren. Lovely stuff from Waits. Really just trying to warm up those hard compound tires early on here. As early on as, oh, Fusible Orange! He's lost traction and hit the wall, and that is a VSC. So potentially our first safety car here. Currently still a VSC, but from what it looked like, Fusible Orange, he took a little bit too much curb going towards Degna 2. And sailed right off into Barrier. So really unfortunate for Fusible Orange and a Red Bull. Now with Sieber currently the sole Red Bull here. As we do get back to green flag racing here. Ozan with the lead. Oh, the Japanese Grand Prix taking over from Vindosh. So those hard tires may already start coming into play here. So for those medium runners, potentially that may have screwed up their strategy. As for the hard tire runners, that really helped them save the tires. As there's already a 1 second gap, but closing already 8/10 Vindosh closed between Degna 1 and 2. Ozan currently leading in the Aston Martin. Going a little bit off track there. Not looking too good for Ozan through Spoon Curve there. So hopefully, as Ozan said, has set a purple sector 2 there. So that may potentially be enough evidence to show that those medium tires are starting to wear off. Yeah, Vindosh doesn't match him. Edgy's 31.793. So it looks like those hard compound tires. Big fight here in the midfield. Wade's trying to defend from Bono here. And it looks like we have a three-way fight here from P8, 9, and 10. Well, actually, not even from P4 all the way down to P10. So, from it looks like it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-way fight here. But from what it looks like, Malk, starting to drop out of Alexis's DRS. Actually, no, he looks like he's gotten back into that DRS range, 0.4 of a second. As it looks like Bono and Alexis going wheel to wheel. Bono sending it up the inside of us here at Spoon Curve. Alexis riding that curve a little bit too much. But Alexis looking to come back at Bono on this back straight, going towards 130R. Going wheel to wheel, small amount of contact there. But luckily, not enough to send a Bono off there. As it looks like Seabird going a little bit too deep and loses a couple of positions there. As it looks like Malk and Jimbo coming into pit. Speaking of Jimbo, he's gotten a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as well as Seabird. So those medium tires, some of those medium tire runners, one of them consisting of a soft tire runner, coming into pit early on. As you can see, Wade's currently on the rear wing of R Shredding, the manager here. Riding on board with R Shredding. So, currently Wade's... These two hopefully trying to work together to catch up to Red Sniper Eye, who's currently in P4, and then at that point, potentially catch back up to the top 3. Top 2 actually. Those two started to run away. 2.2 seconds. 2.3 actually. The gap from Edgy to Vindosh, his teammate, as Waits wanting to send it on R Strading, but not enough. So potentially, as Waits now using the DRS and the ERS to make the move on R Strading. But that isn't enough for Alexis to make the move just yet. Currently sitting at P7, starting from P13. But yeah, it looks like Vindosh has retired! Vindosh, our post-hitter! And that is a safety car from... Where is Vindosh? Where is he? It looks like he was on the right side of the circuit there. Exiting the S section here. His car's not there anymore, but I think he just tried to get on power, but ultimately lost traction. Very unfortunate. Really unfortunate for Vindosh. His first pole position turned into a DNF. Looks like Edgy are shredding Alexis, Viperize, Vacant, Speedy, and Kendricks. The coach all have decided to pit, while Ozen's Red Sniper Eye, Waits, Bono, Husky have all decided to stay out. So Darren and Claire currently down in P16. The sole has remaining here at the Japanese Grand Prix. So really unfortunate for Vindosh here to DNF, who's looked for a very promising race, starting from his first ever pole position. If I'm correct, I believe so. I believe that was his first pole position. So if it was, really unfortunate for him. Especially after a strong first 3 laps of the race, just to DNF. Coming out of the S is really unfortunate. As we're now just waiting for what it looks like Kendricks, Jimbo, the coach, Darren Clare, and Siebert to all catch up. And then we'll be good to go. Now just currently looks like everyone's caught up, so will safety car be in this lap? And Vegan getting a 5-second time penalty. So he might. Vibrant has left the session. Safety cars in this lap. So really bad timing for Viperize. Otan leading the field off and has decided to go very early. building that gap, but already closing because of the slipstream there. Going into turn 1. Waits, wanting to send it around the outside of Red Sniper in that Alpine. And makes the move stick, but Sniper wanting to come back at him, but not sufficient enough. As look at, oh, Husky taking too much curb, causing Edgy to go off the track. And looks like we have Jimbo's logo going off. Very chaotic restart here. Oh, Jimbo has hit Darren Leclerc straight into the side of him. Unsure of his braking points. So, a potential incident report there, and so not looking too good. And Jimbo only losing his front wing end plate on the left side. Honestly, I have no clue. It looks like Viperize currently has not in the race. Faking currently with a penalty, 5-second time penalty for under safety car. But there's already a big gap from spanning 5.5 seconds. Seabird's gap to Darren Leclerc behind. Viper is hoping to retake control of his Mercedes. Hopefully within the next couple of laps, because if not, he will not get points here, or be classified in the points here. It looks like he just barely manages. Looks like speed went wide there, but still managing to keep the car stable. Now into the hairpin. Now heading towards a smooth curve. Edgy, who is up there, close to the top 5. If I remember correctly, P6, if I remember. But I had to take avoiding action as Viperize leaves again. Constant issue for Viperize here. And it looks like Viperize is already down in position. Are shredding, overtaking his teammate Bono. Those two going wheel to wheel. But close behind those two is Malcolm in the Aston Martin, who's currently P6, while the sister Aston Martin in Ozan currently leading the Japanese Grand Prix. So looking very good in terms of points, constructors points for Aston Martin here, who went from barely finishing in the points last time out in Austin to both nearly in the top 5, one leading the race and one nearly in the top 5. It looks like our shredding gets the move done on Red Sniper Eye, coming off of a poor exit for the Alpine, as small amount of contact there for the Bono, as both of them go off. Will Malcolm take advantage of this using his ERS? Staying behind, having to lift. Small amount of contact! Malcolm spinning! Making contact with Red Sniper Eye, so a potential penalty coming for Red Sniper Eye for potentially not leaving enough space for Malcolm, who was slightly out of the top 5. 3 wide coming into turn 1. Big incident, nearly a big incident there, managing to keep it clean there. Really close call. Bono is really taking that risk, but managing to keep the car going. Very risky move from Bono, but in my opinion was not worth it. And Bono losing a position to Speedy. So down to P8 he goes. So those hard tire runners who did decide to stay out really did benefit having to keep going, while everyone else, by the time they pit, those hard tire runners, those two, the top three pits, they'll be on the mediums, while everyone else will be on war mediums. And it looked like they can get a little loose there, coming out of spin curve, tucking in behind a Bono, going through 130R. It looks like Red Sniper Eye, small amount of contact, nearly a spin, but Edgy managing to keep him going. So Sniper Eye keeping up with Edgy. And we have, it looks like Bono has decided to pit for the hard compound tires. From P8 all the way down to P15. So, now nearly currently halfway through the race. It looks like Vega got a little loose coming out of Degna too. So, Vacant currently on those 6-lap old hard tires, so still struggling. Remember, still early on in that hard tire stint for Vacant. Yellow flag sector 2. Looks like Darren Leclerc has spun. No, actually, no, it's Husky who spun. Of course, finishing at the back, of course, as always. Lovely. Simply lovely. Husky being the Nicholas Latifi. The Dutch Nicholas Latifi. Now going back to the top 3. Ozan now currently under threat from Waits. And Waits going through. Actually, no. Ozan defending this. Small amount of contact there. But still managing to keep the lead. So really good defensive moves from Ozan. But mine, close behind Waits, is R. Strading, who did pit under safety car for the medium tires. For the hard tires, but does spin. Losing that traction, and that is a VSC. So this is really going to close the pack up with this VSC. As let me accept this really quick. Apologies. There we go. Okay. Apologies for that. As we go back to green flag racing. Waits using all of his ERS. Wanting to make the send, nearly small amount of contact there. Between Waits and Ozan, fighting for the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. As Ozan and Waits have both come into pits, as Kendrick's taking the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. Edgy, Speedy, and Seabird, all those who did decide to pit under the safety car, their risk has paid off here. So really good stuff. for those who did decide to pit under safety car. Now over halfway through the race here. Hoping to as yellow flag checked, one Darren Leclerc losing it again. So not looking good for Darren Leclerc as Speedy going a little bit wide there. But Seabird did get the move done on Speedy earlier on in the lap. But Speedy currently just purely relying on that slipstream from Seabird to just carry him through the lap. Riding again on Speedy, not using the ERS, purely just using the DRS just to save that battery, to maybe potentially attack on these final couple of laps. In these final 11 laps of the Japanese Grand Prix. But close behind, Speedy is vacant. Speaking of gonna be loose there on the exit, but does end up getting another penalty, so 8 seconds in total for vacant. 5 seconds from that first safety car. And then the 3 seconds for track limits. But Kendrick's already has lost the lead. Kendrick's spinning loose, but manages not to take any damage. Only spins and manages to avoid retaining any damage. So a lot of drivers spinning here. Viprise, who had multiple connection issues early on in the race, has now come back. Now currently up into P5. Now currently attempting to catch back up to vacant. Currently in P4. So hopefully we'll see Viprise maybe potentially on the podium. Real question, yeah. Real question is, will those medium tires last till the end? Everyone who did pit for the mediums really are gonna have to gamble and decide whether to pit for the soft tires in the final couple of laps and push all the way to the end, or just go back onto another set of mediums and push, or just simply just stay on the current set of mediums and just push to the end, just conserve them to the end. That's the big question here for everyone who's had those tires on, those medium tires on for 10 laps or longer, which is the majority of the field is Husky, who's had them on for the longest, 16 laps on those medium tires. So Speedy, a reserve and a Group 3 driver, doing relatively well race-wise, as Vacant going a little bit wider there, but managing to keep the car going. At least there was another incident there. But Viprise closing that gap between himself and Speedy for the final podium spot. And Viprise making the move around the outside and makes it stick, so Viprise up into P3. So those hard tires really starting to come into play here. As a Speedy currently just trying to drag himself along with Viprise to potentially close that gap to Seabird. Currently sitting P2. As that gap is closing rapidly down to 5/10, already down to 4/10, so gained almost, actually gained like 2/10 there from that mini straight from Spoon all the way up into 130 RS. Seabird has decided to pit, but does get a 5-second time penalty. So Vipra is currently up into P2. So Seabird really decided to take the gamble, go on to those fresh soft medium tires actually. Not the soft, which is surprising, if I must say. But that gap from Vipra is all the way up to Edgy, who's our current race leader. 6.5 seconds. So really good stuff from Edgy to keep this pace up. Now heading towards 130R, attempting to build his gap up as much as he can, using his ERS, potentially signaling that he might pit this lap. Will he pit this lap? And no, he will not. So we're going for another lap. Nearly building that gap up to 7 seconds. As Vacant does decide to pit, and that is a safe VSC. Perfect time for Vacant. So Vacant really has timed that move perfectly. So will Vacant take advantage of those soft tires and push to the end of the race? That is the real question here with these final 7 laps remaining. So potentially we may see a couple fast drivers coming from lower positions all the way up, back up into the top 5. And we go back to green flag racing as Red Sniper Eye has a drive through. While these two, Ozan and Waits, go back at it again, fighting for P5. Hoping to potentially work together maybe and catch back up to the top 4. Which that gap from Waits all the way up to Alexis 4.5 seconds. So not looking too good. As you can see, Alexis there now currently in the S section there. Vacant getting another 5-second time penalty. So potentially that might be the end of the race for Vacant maybe. Speedy getting a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So at the moment, he'd go down to P4. As Waits is not in that vicinity within 3 seconds of Speedy. So we're not looking too good for Speedy. But hopefully. Yeah. Malcolm currently on the medium tires, currently in P7, taking the fastest lap with a 30.7. Bono on the soft tires, down to P12, 30.3. So hopefully, maybe we'll see Bono come back. Currently P12, who started higher up in P8. So those in top 4 really nursing those tires home in these final 5 laps of the Japanese Grand Prix. Really good result. Looking like a very good result for the Mercedes. Apologies, I had a little brain fart there. But close behind is Waits and Ozan. Slowly but surely creeping their way to Alexis and Speedy. It's going right on board with Waits here. 2.1 second, 2.2 actually, 2.3, so really starting to close that gap down here in the S sections, I believe. Yeah, it's really through the S sections where he's really getting all that time. On those fresher, on those 2 times fresher medium tires, which they've only ran half the time that Edgy, Viprice, Speedy, and Alexis have run under medium and hard compound tires. Vacant 30.0 fastest lap. Potentially some DRS. He'd have to get really close in the middle of 130R. We have a spin. Looks like Darren Leclerc. Close to being lapped here. And you will get that DRS. Well, actually, I don't think he did. Closing that gap though in the chicane. Yes, he. Oh, wait, did he get the DRS? So we have a fight among us here for his final podium spot here in Group 2, here round 2, here in Japan. Has Ozan caught up? No, he is there. So hopefully he'll be able to catch up and maybe get into this fight here. And maybe finish up in P4. As looks like Ozan got a really good exit coming off of the hairpin, but not enough to potentially get a run on Waits, but coming into Spoon Curve now. if Ozan can get a really good exit here, might be able to catch. Wait, yes he does, closing that gap down. Not using his ERS, just using the slipstream to drag him along. Alexis already starting to run away. Small amount of contact, Speedy! Small amount of contact results in a spin for Waits. Waits having the most effect of it. So really unfortunate for Waits there. Forced into the pits. So potentially now out of the points now. Waits, who's running in the top 5, has retired from the Japanese Grand Prix with only 2 laps remaining. So at the moment, Mercedes looking at their best results of the season, P2 and 3. So that is our 5th retiree. No, 4th retiree now. With only 2 laps remaining, Darren Leclerc getting a 3-second time penalty. Back down in P17, nearly gonna get lapped by Edgy. Ozan now coming through. Chicane now exiting onto the front straight. Now on the penultimate lap here of the Japanese Grand Prix. Now if Ozan can maybe catch up to Alexis, he might be able to stop Mercedes' best result here this season. As Speedy does come into the pit lane and put on the soft compound tires. About to come in between the 2 Alfa Romeos, but actually no. Comes out behind Bono. So Ozan already caught up to Alexis. Really just got to use him to drag him along. On for the rest of this lap and the rest of the final lap. Really just trying to save his ERS as much as he can right now, preparing for that final lap. So now approaching 130R. Mind, Alexis does have a penalty, so either way, Ozan will get this position. It's really just a matter of fact building this gap. As it looks like Ozan's now gotten the DRS. Using a little bit of his ERS, not making the move just yet. So really waiting till that back straight post spoon curve to make the move on that back straight there. As if he does end up getting past him before Spoon, actually on that back straight, heading towards 130R, that might potentially be game over for Alexis on track. So Ozan currently on track for his potential best finishing result here in Group 2. We'll have to close a half-second gap in here in Spoon. And coming onto the back straight, closing that gap down using all of his ERS. Not using all of it just yet, now using it. Might be a little bit too late here. But yeah, he knows he's gonna get P3, so playing it smart as Edgy will come across the line to win the Japanese Grand Prix. Viper finishing P2 and Ozan finishing P3. Props to Ozan. So really good result for Mercedes and Aston Martin. Both within the top 5. And Speedy ends up out of the points. As Kendricks is our driver of the day. As Edgy winning his first race of the season. So already 2 championship contenders already. As our race winner, Edgy for the first time this season, Viperize and Ozan finishing off the podium as Alexis finishing P4. So really good result for Mercedes. Malk finishing P5, so really good result for Aston Martin as well. So that is our top 5. Here's the rest of the finishing results. Anyways, that is it for me. Peace out, everyone. Yeah. Peace out. Hasta la vista.